Hello everyone, we are Team 7 and today we're presenting topic Mind over Matter. The team members are Miss number 12, Miss number 23, myself, Mr. number 26, and Miss number 31. These are the topics we're going to be talking about today. The first one is Don't Be Naive. The second is Grammar Indirect Speech. Third, the placebo and nocebo effects. And fourth, discuss phobias. Now, here are the objectives of our presentation. First, suggest that someone is being gullible. Two, examine superstitions for believability. Three, talk about the power of suggestion. And four, discuss phobias. Now, we want to begin with our introduction, and we're going to focus first on these three images. These are what we call optical illusions, and they are characterized because you think you're seeing something and then you realize that it's fake, that your mind is playing tricks with you, basically. As we can see here, we have this first optical illusion, and we see here two people outdoors in a beautiful place, but we also can see two faces. Then we have this weird circle, and the weirder thing about this is that it seems to move. You see it, and it kind of moves to one side and then to the other, but this is achieved by the shapes and the colors of the figure. And then we have the last one, and this is my personal favorite. It's called the Devil's Fork, and I like it because it is simple and yet it's really fascinating. It depends on how you look at it. You can see it has 2 points or 3 points. Like from the base, you can say they're only based for 2 points, but then you see here and there are 3 points, and you try to follow the middle point and there's nothing in the end. So it is quite interesting and I like it. This is related to this quote we find in the book. Sometimes on a dark night, we might think we are seeing monsters, but in reality, they are only trees. That illusion is caused by your imagination and our natural fear of the dark. Continuing with our introductions, we have here idioms. And well, one may think that an idiom is the same as languages, right? It sounds like idiomas, but we would be wrong. Idioms is what we call in Spanish modismos. Idioms are a group of words or a saying or maybe a phrase with a symbolic rather than literal meaning that is accepted in common usage. Here I have some idioms. They are quite useful in the day-to-day English. And well, the first one is I may be imagining things, and this hardly qualifies as an idiom. It means, well, maybe I am not seeing the reality. Maybe my mind is playing tricks with me. Then, don't get me wrong. It means please do not misunderstand me. Three, if I were in your shoes, this idiom referred to empathy. Like if I were in your situation, I would. Then the cat is out of the bag. This is referring to a secret. The cat is the secret, so the cat is out of the bag. There is no secret anymore. What's on your mind? Again, barely an idiom. What are you thinking about? And then keep in mind, this is pretty famous. It means don't forget or remember. Now we can begin with our lessons. The first lesson, don't be naive. Let's start with some grammar, shall we? The grammar is nouns, indefinite, definite, unique, and generic meaning. A noun is indefinite when it doesn't refer to a specific person, place, thing, or idea. Use a or an with indefinite singular count nouns. Indefinite non-count nouns have no article. And here I have two examples. The first one says, you should get a chef knife for more precise cuts. Now here I am referring to any chef knife, right? I am not saying, oh, well, you should get this specific chef knife. You should get maybe a small chef knife. No, I am talking about any chef knife, right? So I do not need to use the article the, I'm only using the article a. Then second option, she loves music so much she is starting to become a compositor. Now, a noun is definite when it refers to a specific person, place, thing, or idea. An indefinite noun, already mentioned, becomes definite when mentioned a second time. Use the definite article the with definite singular and plural count nouns and with definite non-count nouns. And here we have some examples. The first example is the flour used in this kitchen must be strictly gluten-free. Now, because I am talking about the flour that enters my kitchen, like specifically this flour, then I have to use the flours. Otherwise, if I am talking about any random flour, I could be saying flowers. Like I would not need the article, but in this case, I do need it. And then we have the second example. People who have celiac disease can only eat gluten-free bread. The gluten-free bread is made out of starches and flours without any gluten in it, like rice flour. Here we have referred what I just read in the second paragraph. It says that if I have the same noun, and if I repeat it, then I have to use the, because now I am talking about it specifically. Here we have it clearly. In the first part of this sentence, I said people who have celiac disease can only eat gluten-free bread. But here, because I'm still talking about gluten-free bread, I have to use the article the because I am talking specifically about this gluten-free bread. Then we have this. A count or non-count noun can represent a person, place, or thing that is unique. Here we're talking about things that there's only one of. For example, here, the winner takes it all, like in the song. The winner, there's only one winner, right? So I have to use the article to highlight this. Second example, a famous person is dining at the best table right now. Because there's only one best table, then I have to use the article the to highlight this. There's only one best table. Count nouns can be used in a generic sense to represent all members of a class group of people, places, or things. I will exemplify this with this example. There are three ways I can phrase the same sentence, and all three ways are correct. I could say, a kilo is a weight measure unit, the kilo is a weight measure unit, or kilos are a weight measure unit. All three are correct, and well, we could choose our favorite, right? I have some grammar practice here. Here we have a sentence, an unfinished sentence, and we are asked to complete it. If it needs an article, then we must write it. If it doesn't, then we just have to delete the spaces. Here, I considered there's only one instance in which an article is needed, and the sentence would be, it's well known that carrots are a good source of vitamins. In fact, research has determined that drinking a glass of carrot juice every day can add years to your life. Now, let's get to the main point of this lesson. What is gullible? Gullible is an adjective that describes someone who is easily deceived or tricked and too willing to believe everything that other people say. So they are naive people, basically. And because they are naive, they tend to fall for scams. This is very tragic, of course. But this reminds me of a scam that was very popular a few years ago. It was this guy. I remember that you could not watch a YouTube video without seeing his face first. He was advertising everywhere his course. He said you could learn English in 3 months, and well, maybe you could improve your English in that time, but I do not think it is possible to go from 0 to 100% in 3 months. And this is, well, a lot of people, after they took his course, they left reviews or they gave their opinion on social media, and they were saying that it was a scam. That first of all, it was very expensive. Um, that most of the content was motivational videos, and that you could find all of his resources in internet. And well, also people were saying that he plagiarized his program or his course, that he was not the developer of his program. So yeah, I think it was a scam. And if I were to talk about someone about this scam, I would use phrases like, "Can you believe this? Can you believe that this guy claimed that you could learn perfect English in 3 months?" You could also say, "You don't buy that, do you?" And this is an idiom because with this, we're not referring really to the verb buying, like giving money for something. No, what we are saying, what we are really saying when we say "I don't buy it" is "I do not believe it." So you could say, "Well, you don't buy that, right? You know you can't learn English in 3 months." And then the last one, that's gotta be a scam. I mean, it is too good to be true. And well, here's my video.
This guy was able to scam all 5 sharks, including Mark Cuban.
My biggest loss was probably $1 million. There's this company, what the hell was it called?
Breathometer, the world's first smartphone breathalyzer.
Charles Michael Yim convinced all 5 sharks to invest a total of $1 million for 30% of his company. But what they didn't know was that Michael had his own plans for the money.
What are you going to use the money for?
Strictly manufacturing of the product.
I look at his Instagram and he'd be in Bora Bora. He'd be in Vegas partying, then he'd be on Nectar Island with Richard Branson. And I'd text him like, "What the f are you doing? You're supposed to be working." "Oh no, I'm networking."
Not only did he lie about his plans for the money, but he knew the product gave inaccurate results, but sold them anyway, and was ordered by the FTC to offer refunds for the faulty devices.
Next thing you know, all the money's gone.
What a mistake.
5 smart sharks. Not me. I wasn't on the set that day.
And that's how
Hi Professor, I am Mr. Number 26 and I talk about my topic is grammar indirect spec. The indirect spec is used to report a generalization statement or believe the people. Its grammar is it plus a positive reporting verb plus a noun clause, and that normally is that. The common reporting verbs are assert, believe, claim, statement, feel, hold, say, and things. But when we use the verb in the sentence, we need to change grammatical tense. Hence, we change present simple to past simple, as we see on the slide. For example, it said that tamales can be left right in the pot is open to soup during to cooking. In this sentence, we use the verb said. This is said as past simple. In other example, it is believed that something is very speaking because the person who prepared it was angry. We use the verb believe, and we can look in 2 sentences. We use the that as noun clause. Now, we can use people or the total generality statement or believe. The it is changed for them or people, and the verb change a present simple. We don't use past simple. For example, people say, present simple, that we couldn't have in all the homework for English class. And this moment I will present a video that will serve as a recap of the topic learning, as well as adding information that might be useful.
Use this trick to massively improve your English writing. When you write formal texts, you will often need to report what other people say or think. Often students do this in a really boring and simplistic way. For example, people say that money cannot buy happiness. But honestly, this is rubbish. Yeah, and it's like totally not true. That's why I'm so sad all the time. Instead, you need to use a passive reporting verb. Wow, Toby, what is that? It's easy. Instead of saying people say it is said that. Ooh, that seems complicated. No, it's not. It's simple. It's just it plus be plus the past participle plus that. And we can go even further. Let's add an adverb of frequency. It is often said that money cannot buy happiness. Ooh, this looks incredible. Or we could change the word say to something else, like argue, for example. So this gives us, it is often argued that money cannot buy happiness. Oh my gosh, this is beautiful. But now, are you ready to take this to a whole new level? Well, let's add a modal verb. It could be argued that money cannot buy happiness. Oh, these are called passive modal reporting verbs, and now you know them.
Well, I have one question. Which sentence is incorrect? Letter E, it is say that spelling salt brings bad luck. Letter C, he was said that letting the first rain in March touch your face will bring your good luck throughout the year. Or letter C, it was widely believed that the storm will be terrible. And the correct is letter B. Yes. Of course, correct is the letter B. He was said that letting the first rain in May touch your face will bring you good luck through the year. Because letter E and C, the sentence are using correct from the grammar rule. This is plus a passive reporting verb plus a noun clause. And this sentence B, the sentence use the he as the subject. That's incorrect. The correct form is it is say that letting the first rain in May touch your face will bring your good luck through the year.
Hi! As the third topic of this 7th unit, we will look at the placebo and nocebo effects. To be able to understand the placebo effect, we first need to define what a placebo is. A placebo is a seemingly real treatment or substance that contains no active ingredients such as a sugar pill, a saline injection, or fake surgery. In the other words, the word placebo is used to refer to a fake medication. This is because it contains no active substance that works against any disease, or a medical procedure that helps or brings relief to patients, but only because they believe it does. This is a product of their high expectations and suggestion. Now, the placebo effect refers to the physical or mental improvement a person experiences after having received a fake treatment, a placebo. This effect can be verbally induced, especially by mothers, doctors, or anyone we trust, through conditioning and previous experience that shape the patient expectations. Next, we will watch the following video, which, through a study, help us better understand what the placebo effect is.
This study showed that the placebo effect was real. Have a look at this. So in 2021, this group of college students were used to test the effects of placebos, caffeine, and Adderall. But there were two parts to the experiment. The first part was that one group of college students would take 200 milligrams of caffeine, which is like a normal cup of coffee, and the other group had something that looked like coffee, but without any caffeine. In other words, a placebo. All of the caffeine group reported an increase in motivation and alertness, and some of the placebo group did as well, but not all of them. But this is the interesting thing. In part 2 of the test, they gave both groups caffeine, but they told one of the groups they were given Adderall instead, a commonly used drug that helps people with focus and brain performance, especially popular with students. So the group who were thought they were given Adderall felt more alert and performed better on the memory tests compared to the other group who thought they were just given caffeine. So even though both groups were given the exact same thing, just the expectation that it was Adderall led to increased brain performance. So maybe it's worth pretending that your coffee is in fact Adderall. I don't know.
Now, let's examine the clinical uses of the placebo effect. They are commonly used in clinical trials to help researchers determine if a new medication or treatment has a real effect beyond the placebo. And in some cases, they can help patients reduce their reliance on opioid medications by conditioning them to associate a placebo with pain relief. Now, let's take a look at what the nocebo effect is defined as the negative expectations or beliefs that a harmless substance will cause harmful side effects. This effect can manifest as an increase in pain, the appearance of side effects, or the worsening of exciting symptoms, even in the absence of an active treatment. And to finish this third topic, we'll watch the following video that, through a visual example, show us the meaning of the nocebo effect.
So a 2020 study on the nocebo effect in concussion found that negative beliefs about recovery, especially fear of permanent damage like CTE, can actually worsen your symptoms even when brain scans, cognitive testing, and everything else is normal. So again, this is the nocebo effect, where the more you fear the symptoms, the worse they get, even when the brain is functioning fine. So when you're told your brain may be permanently damaged, those fears can amplify and make your symptoms feel worse than they actually are. So it's not about your brain being broken, but about your brain being influenced by fear and stress.
Lastly, to conclude my part in these presentations, I would like to ask the following question. Are the placebo effect and the nocebo effect the same? Yes or no? The correct answer is no. No, the placebo effect and the nocebo effect are not the same. Although both are based on the patient's suggestions and expectations, they are opposite effects. The placebo effect leads to an improvement in symptoms due to positive beliefs, while the nocebo effect causes a worsening of symptoms due to negative expectations. And that's that's all from me. Bye.
So let's continue with lesson 4. Discuss phobias. For start the lesson, we need to see some vocabulary. Make up one's mind. For example, he's afraid of bees and spiders, but he can make up his mind about which are scary. Be all in one's mind. He's afraid there's a monster under the bed. His mom says it's all in his mind. Change one's mind. She was planning to see the dentist, but it was too scary, so she changed her mind. Put something out of one's mind. She's terrified of flying, but she's trying to put any thoughts of accidents out of her mind. Be out of one's mind. Getting in the elevator will give him palpitations, but they think he's out of his mind to walk down 30 flights of stairs. Let's see some examples. The first one is when you try not to let it worry or bother you. In this case, we use put out of your mind. When you put out of your mind, you try not to let it worry or bother you. The second example is when you change your opinion or decision about something. In this case, we use make up your mind. When you make up your mind, you change your opinion or decision about something. The third example is when something is not real and a person is imagining it, you can tell the person. In this case, we use it's all in your mind. When something is not real and a person is imagining it, you can tell the person it's all in your mind.
Cuatro expresiones con minds que debes saber. Out of your minds, haber perdido la cabeza. Change your minds, cambiar de opinión. Make up your mind, decídete. Cross your minds, que se te ha pasado por la mente. Y síguenos para más tips.
For season phobias, we use this chart. Phobia, noun, adjective. Acrophobia, heights. Acrophobic, acrophobic. Agoraphobia, open space. Agoraphobia, agoraphobic. Arachnophobia, spiders. Arachnophobia, arachnophobic. Aerophobia, flying. Aerophobic, aerophobic. Claustrophobia, enclosed space. Claustrophobic, claustrophobic. Ophidiophobia, snakes. Ophidiophobia, ophidophobic. Xenophobia, foreigner. Xenophobic, xenophobic. Thank you.